All right, everyone, episode 6, and here we go. I hope that the picture quality is a little bit better. I went ahead and changed some settings on my phone I didn't even know you could do for the camera, and I also have a microphone that I said I was going to purchase. So that came in yesterday. I got it all hooked up. I didn't want to try to do the video and try to learn the microphone as well, but it's actually pretty plug and play, so I might do a little review on that too, just to kind of go with the channel. It's not necessarily to do with fish, but this channel isn't specifically focused on fish. So episode 6, the SR-120 build. As you can see, a lot has changed from episode 5 to 6. So we have the lights are on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Red Sea 90s. And I bought these all off Facebook Marketplace. I did all kinds of research and I was like, hey, what are these lights looking like? You know, and all I could find was really like either okay views or bad reviews on this light. So it wasn't looking too good, but I didn't want to spend $1,000 on each light and get maybe the 3 Radions that I was wanting, and that's $3,000 just for the lights. The lights would be more than the tank, and that seems kind of ridiculous. So I got these all used. I got 2 from one guy and 3 from another. Total costing me about $500, so about $100 each. I mean, you can't beat that deal at all whatsoever. They all came with the arms too, so phenomenal deal. I had to get 3 of them shipped to me from another state. So if you're looking for gear and you don't mind getting things used or secondhand, Facebook Marketplace is the way to go, or even your local reefer page. We have the CVR page for myself, Central Valley Reefer. It's a great Facebook page that is all the local people, and they sell things a lot cheaper than you can get them online for, so that's always cool. But to get into this video, like I said, we have the lights. All 5 are mounted. That's really cool. To kind of point out the obvious, this light over here is a lot higher than the other ones, and I'm going to take you back there in a second to show you why. This is how it goes with the new tank, with the new build. I didn't see any videos. I didn't see people putting these together like this, so that's why I'm making it. And shout out to, I believe it's Liam is how you pronounce it, if you're watching these. Thank you for being one of the first people to comment and follow along. I really appreciate that. If I butchered your name, I'm sorry, but shout out to you for, commenting and telling me to keep doing these, and I appreciate that. So thank you for following along. But to get back to it, I didn't see anyone put any lights on these or, mounting them. I seen a lot of, probably 3 or 4 starting videos, and then maybe a couple of the 80s, the SR-80s and the 40s, but those are a lot smaller. You don't have a 6-foot tank, so I'm really kind of playing this by ear and, seeing how it goes. And the 5 lights is not necessary, but it was a good deal, so that's why I ended up going with it. 4 would probably be perfectly fine, and I'm not necessarily going to keep all these lights on for like a high intensity. It's more so for spread, so that's why I'm doing that with the 5. It's definitely overkill. So to add, what else we got new is going to be the wave maker. I have the Higer. Let me see if you can see this. Go ahead. There we go. 120, I believe. That's the watt that I got. Now, this is what I'm going to say. You can actually see this pretty well. Let's see. So you have the top. It's okay. It's bouncing. It's making some waves, right? It definitely made the tank a little cloudy, blowing some of the sand off of the rocks that had settled. But what I'm going to say about this is 2 things. Number 1, the pumps that come with the Innovative Marine, they're okay. And I'll say the same thing about that Higer. It is okay. It's functional. It'll do good, especially for a fish tank and maybe a LPS or softy tank. SPS, I personally don't think it is a good idea to keep those Mighty Jets in there. Not that they're bad, again, but I think you would want more flow in this tank, and it's great. It is awesome. There's so many of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's about 12 nozzles that you can shoot flow out. Here's the problem. There's not a lot of flow from those pumps. So I haven't even gone into it. I tried to turn up the Mighty Jets as high as I could. I think they're at the max flow right now, but I'm not 100% sure. So maybe I'm just doing that wrong, but I still have to work with the cords and, all my cord management and everything underneath. So this is just step by step. This is the step we're on right now. We have some flow going, and then maybe you've seen this, maybe you can't. I'll get you guys a little bit closer. Here we go. So I added the old rocks from the other tank into this tank, which is probably, you know, either a no, like don't do that, or discouraged. But again, this is just me probably going against the grain, not purposefully. This is just what I see to be the best route for myself. And I'm going to explain the situation now. I wasn't sure when I was going to do it, but I'm going to go ahead and explain it. So the tank is gone. You know, that other tank that was behind, it's gone, thankfully. And someone picked it up today, a really nice lady. That was awesome. Shout out to Kelly if you end up watching this. But yeah, it's gone. So I have my gym back, and I just need to keep cleaning up and taking care of all that wire management. But basically, the situation that I was in, so the situation that I was in was I had sold that other fish tank years ago and made, you know, hopefully a lifelong friend from selling it. Years later, after I sold it to him, he hit me up and he said, hey man, I got your fish still that I bought from you 3 years ago. Do you want these fish? I'll give them to you for free. And I said, yeah, but I ordered this tank and I'm still waiting for it to come in. And he said, well, I can give you this tank for free if you want to pick everything up and set it all up. So I did that, and I'll upload the video of me taking that one down. It wasn't as good as a video of this, so that's the reason why I'm hesitant to put that up. You know, I kind of just am mumbling or not getting to the point, and I don't think it's a great video to put out, but I might do it later. If you really want to see what the tank used to look like before and this one, let me know, and I'll put a video of me taking down that tank and then me putting up these two little tanks to store all the fish in, and then me setting up this 35-gallon bucket or trash can full of rocks, and that's where the rocks came from right here. So there was this one snail in there kind of chowing down on all that algae, right? And he's eating from the rocks that are in that tank. And then this guy, this big old snail, was inside of here. So, sorry, to get back to the story. Basically, long story short, he still had my fish, some clowns that I had, a little damsel, a goby, stuff like that, and a pistol shrimp. Man, I can't believe the pistol shrimp is still alive, and it is huge, so I can't wait to get that on video for you guys. But that's like one of my favorite invertebrates is the pistol shrimp. Is so cool, and I want to get him a little watchman goby, so that'll be planned for later too. But he still had all my stuff, and I was like, yeah, I'll take it. I just don't have any. I don't want to keep him in a 20-gallon tank. Now, I'm here in that position, so I probably should have just not took his tank, even though he gave it to me for free, because it just kind of was a headache to set it all up and then tear it down when this tank got here. But it's a good experience and a good kind of video series. It made for great content, I think, and so it kind of worked out. But in the end, hindsight, I kind of would have just set up 2 small tanks, the trash can, let that sit the way it is, and let all these things get in here. But I digress. So I don't want to go on too long about that. That's the situation I'm in. I have 3 tanks in those 20-gallon tanks, and then a bunch of fish in that trash can, and they're all mine from years ago, so they got some sentimental value, you know. And he was going to give them away to the store for free anyways, so he said, you know, hey bro, might as well give it back to you. You're the original owner. So overall, pretty cool experience, but that's the situation I'm in. So to go from where we were on episode 5 and to 6, we have all the lights are set up. We have the Higer over here, and then now I'm gonna unbox. I don't know 100% if I'm gonna do it in this video or the next one, but I have the Wavelink, I have the tunes, and then I have this auto top off. Basically, it's just a tank to hold the reservoir, hold the water of fresh water, the RO water, to use this pump to pump it into the tank so that the water level never drops and that the salinity level never changes. That's the biggest thing for me, is that I don't want to have the swings for the fish, for the corals, for anything. I want to have it as stable as possible. And having this big, it's a 15-gallon. It's huge. This is the second time I bought it. I'll kind of go over it for a second, just in case you guys are interested in maybe getting one. So this little thing right here, it's like a screw, right? I don't know what it's for at all. I'll have to look into it. Last time I bought one, the exact same one, it did not come with this. But yeah, we're kind of sticking with the brand. It's really cool. We have the Innovative Marine. We got the Innovative Marine. And then we have the Innovative Marine Powerhead. So again, I've said this many times already. This is the mid-size. I wish there was a large one because I would have bought that for sure. But this is what we got. I don't want to spend $400 on wave makers, especially when I don't have corals. So, or at least not any corals that need it. So right now, this is what we got. This is what we're going to work with. And I'm going to make it work until it doesn't. And I need SPS flow. I need, corals, or I have corals that need more flow is demanding. So I'll kind of go from there. But what else did we do? We added the Microbacter Start XLM. So what this is live tank starter nitrifying bioculture. So cycling new marine fish and reef aquaria. I'm doing all the against the grain stuff you could possibly do in this series. And I really just kind of want to show, hey, when things get bad or when things swing in the wrong direction, this is how you correct it. And this is the way to go about it, because it specifically says on that bottle, do not do everything that you just did, which is great. So yeah, I definitely didn't follow the directions, but I dumped that whole bottle in there to start the cycle of this tank. And it says do not use rocks that have bacteria on there. Well, the Aquaforce rock, it has bacteria. So now those two bacteria are probably fighting over the tank right now in this crazy battle. I don't see it yet, but I assume something is going to happen because I did that. And then I have also this sand from that other tank. And that tank was only up for a month, so I wasn't going to get rid of this sand, buy new sand. However, if I would have been able to, not necessarily afford it, I just didn't want to spend hundreds of dollars extra on sand when I already spent like $100 and something on this sand. But if I could go back, I would have not bought the other sand, and I would have bought the Aquaforce sand, that bio sand, because that stuff looks really clean. It looks really nice, and I've never used it, so that's something I want to do. I don't think I would go through the hassle of taking all of this sand out just to add the bio sand. But who knows? If I got sent it for free from Aquaforest, shout out, I would absolutely do that. I would filter it all out in a heartbeat. But point is, it says the Microbacter says not to use any bacteria on your rocks or in your sand, and I have that. And not only do I have that bacteria from there, I have the bacteria all over the rocks. These two, you can see they're different color. They have algae on them. That's why the snails are in there, to kind of battle that out so it doesn't spread too crazy. But I do want this bioculture to spread from those rocks over to all my new rocks. And yeah, I'm just trying to get as diverse as I can with this. But again, this is kind of against the whole directions of the bottle. So we'll see how this plays out. It's going to be interesting, at least in my mind. But to move forward, we put the Microbacter in there, and the tank is starting to cycle with this old rock because this rock right here, these two specifically, man, this rock is like 3, 4, maybe even 5 years old. So this is real established. And yeah, sure, I'm sure it's got some pests, and you don't want to introduce that. But in my opinion, I don't see a big problem. I don't see a bunch of bristleworms. I don't see any flatworm. And I can't catch everything, obviously. I don't have a microscope to look through the whole rock. But from what I can see and what I am willing to do is I'm willing to put this live rock to boost the health of the tank. And I have the lights on right now. If any algae starts to take off or get crazy, then I'm going to turn off the lights. That's what I'm going to do. Obviously, for recording purposes, I'll probably keep the light on like this. But when it comes to getting uncontrollable algae, I'll just turn it off. So let's move on. We have the bacteria. We have the new pumps in, or a pump. I'm going to put that other pump in there later. We have the auto top off tank. I need to set that up. We have the lights. And let's get to something more interesting. Boom, we have the Chaetomorph, and you can see it really clear on this video. It's kind of unfortunate. It's two-tone, right? And why? Today is Sunday. This was supposed to be here on Friday. I received it on Wednesday, if you're following along, and it kind of died, in the bag. I'm hoping this part comes back to life. Looks like there's some little splotches in there that are still alive. This right here is not doing too well. I have the grow light on top, so that's going in. I might put this even in the tank on the side right here because it's submergible, which is awesome. I've never had a light that's submergible in the water, so really cool. But actually, yeah, here's another thing too I wanted to talk about. Look at that. the Chaeto from BRS or from Algae Barn, wherever it came from, it has little snails in here. So that is so cool. I thought that was awesome. You know, free gifts, or like, you know, free little tidbits here and there of, hey, here's a little free snail, is honestly one of the coolest things in the hobby, especially when it's not a bad thing, when it's not a pest. You know, if it's a pest, there's a good little saying, if it's free, it's for me, except for STDs. Yeah, that's definitely gonna go for the tank. If it's free, it's for me. But if it's got a bunch of pests and things that you don't want in your tank, nah, I don't want that. So you have to be careful, and you cannot avoid all the pests. So do what you can, you know, like dip your corals, quarantine your fish. I'm gonna be showing examples of that with these little tanks whenever I get a new fish. But let's go a little bit, let's zoom in a little bit. Sorry, I have to adjust this camera on the tripod. But let's see if we can get you a clear image of what we did. Let me see if I can find any. So a lot of these are particles like air bubbles, but I'm trying to show you a good example of the pods that are here. Let me see if I can find some first. Okay, here we go. On the glass, can you guys see that movement? That's not in the water column, that's on the glass, on the acrylic right there. Oh, see him jumping? Right here? See him jumping? Okay, those are pods. And I seeded that in the tank. There are no predators right now in this whole aquarium. So all these pods can go, water comes in through here, this shoots up water, it flows through here. You can already see in the back right there, it's flowing into the tank, right? So all these pods are slowly being released into the tank, and these are the eco pods that I made my very first video on. So if you want to go back, check that out. They were on sale. I think they're still on sale right now, hopefully, so you guys can kind of get them. It's a great deal. I believe it's like, man, I can't remember the number. It's a lot of pods though. It's 4 full jars of pods. And so basically I let out those 4 colonies, right? And all of those pods are getting completely spread out through the rock, and they're just establishing. There's no natural predator in them in there for them, at least from what I know. Like there's no mandarin, there's no wrasses, there's no crabs. There's snails, so the snails could possibly eat some of the pods, but nowhere near the amount that are in there. However, here is the kind of, you know, I'm trying to balance. It's a balancing act, this whole thing. So I kind of jumped the gun where the Chaeto's dying because it sat in the bag for 2 or 3 days. You know, I should have put it in the water, but I didn't have any water to put it in. So hopefully it comes back. If not, I'll just order another bag of Chaeto. You know, it's not a big deal. But for the pods, here is the kind of predicament that I'm in. There's not a lot of algae, as you can see. That's why I have the lights on. If the algae gets out of control, then I will cut off the lights. But I want the pods to survive. So I have to have some sort of food for the pods to eat and to create a culture and, you know, just populate this whole tank. I want to just be full of pods. And give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Hopefully you can still hear me on the microphone because you're supposed to be able to kind of walk away and do things. So just getting this out of my refrigerator. Here we go. This is the food. So live phytoplankton feeds copepod populations, boost your coral growth, outcompete nuisance algae. So this is so cool because I will just be dumping. Here, I'll show you. These are really cool bottles. So it says about 5 ounces for 20 or 25 gallons, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, so 5 milliliters, not ounces, sorry, to 20 gallons. So there's a little marker. You can't see it on the camera too well. Sorry, right here. So just fill it up right here. You squeeze the bottle. Boom. Oh, I went over. But you see how that's 5 to 20 gallons? This is 120. So quick maths, I would need 6 of these, or just 5, 10, 15. Just kind of go up and then go to 30. Cool. And I'll show you guys what I do. So I get that. I open up the tank, lift the lid. Oh, come on. There we go. And all I do is I just kind of spread it throughout, dump it out, and boom. Now the pods have some food to eat. So really cool. Like I said, I'm just a balancing act. I'm trying to provide food, but I don't want a nuisance, you know, and this is the whole thing with reef keeping. So if I'm just kind of beating a dead horse, I'm sorry, but I'm also trying to make this geared towards new reefers and new people who have not done a saltwater tank. I'm trying to educate, but also give my experience as well. So if I'm just going over the same kind of ideas and concepts that you've already heard from BRS or all these other reefers, I'm sorry, but I am going to be repeating those things so that people can understand like how to start a saltwater fish tank. And this is a great experience or a great documentation of what not to do. But if you have to do this, like you're in a situation like me or you're impatient, right? There's a lot of impatient reefers. If you find one that's patient, please let me know, because they're probably 1 in a million. Most of us reefers aren't very patient. So this is what you can do to kind of, I guess, speed things up. I don't want to tell anyone to speed things up, but I mean, man, if you look at, I follow LAX Aquariums on Facebook and I watch an Instagram and I watch their videos, man, they set up a brand new tank fully thriving with a bunch of coral the very first day for a customer. And how do they do that? They feed pods, phytoplankton, cultured rocks that are already have plenty of bacteria on it, new clean rocks that, they get that bacteria spread to it. So I'm trying to show how maybe not a big company, but a guy from home who's just shown his own experience can accomplish the same thing. But you do have to throw out the money for it. You do have to be aware of what could go wrong and how you're going to fix it. And hopefully this helps you be aware of things like that. So let's get into this right here. These are the ones I was able to refrigerate. Tiger pods. This is a whole different type of pod. And large red copepods, 250 to 1700. Okay, great for propagation, increasing biodiversity. And that's what we want to do. We want to have some biodiversity. We have 4 other types of pods, and this is the 5th one we're going to introduce. Restocking reef refugia. So the refugium. That's what I showed you in the back with that algae. So I'd say probably, I don't know, I'll give it like 3 or 4 days for those other pods to kind of cultivate and find their own home in here. And then my plan is to go, once this tank is cycled, my plan is to go ahead and probably take out these rocks. I don't know, we'll see. Take out these rocks, put some of these shelf rocks in there to go from a little island to island. And then we're gonna go ahead and put all of the stuff in this tank, not the rocks, but all of the fish, and we're gonna put them into the other tank, and everyone will be able to kind of be back in a home where they're comfortable. Unfortunately, sorry guys, these guys are hiding and you can't see them, but I have 2 tanks in here, 100+ snails that I ordered, so they have cleaned the heck out of this rock. Especially if you can see the other videos when I was taking it down. Oh, there's my convict tank. So cool. Guy's doing pretty cool, pretty good. He has a problem. I'll get into that in another video. He's got like a swim bladder problem, I think. I'm not a doctor, so it's just what I've seen and can kind of gather from watching YouTube videos. But we're going to add the fish. We're going to add the skimmer. And then we're also going to go ahead and, this is my makeshift DIY refugium that I made. So we're going to take everything out of here. I might do that tonight, honestly, because the tank is already doing well. Give me a second. Let me put this down. Okay. So all this matrix, again, what I've seen, freshwater. I think it's pretty cool. I'm going to add this to my refugium, the new one on the back of that tank, and this hotel. I'm going to add that as well. 3D printed, plenty of space for the pods to live, thrive, and not have any predators in there picking at them and just eating them all. So they have plenty of space to live. I'll dump more Fido into there, give them plenty of food, and hopefully the Fido kind of grows and puts in there. I need to change this probably today, so I'll do that. Super dirty, super nasty. Just filter floss, that's all, from Hobby Lobby. Use the 50% off. You get every day you get like a 50% off, or every week. So just buy one once a week, and all it is pillow fill, really. And I just change that like every 2 days or every day even, depending on how dirty it gets. But yeah, so one thing I wanted to kind of circle back to was, hold on, let me put this back on. Okay, so we know what we're going to add. We're going to add the fish in a couple days. We're going to add the pods from this. We're going to add the hotel. We're going to add the media, the matrix, the little rocks. It actually came in this. I ordered this from Amazon. Really cool, really good sale. Great for freshwater. amazing for freshwater, honestly. And it'll just keep all those microbacter, all those cultures, all that bacteria, the good bacteria that you want to keep. It'll keep it in your sump or the back of your tank like mine, and really help out the biological kind of filtration going on that you can't really see without a microscope, but you just know through all the evidence of YouTube or scientists and all these other kind of documents that they have about how to get rid of this nuisance algae, because that's like one of the biggest problems in the hobby. But to move forward with my situation, this is something I didn't think about because I hadn't seen any videos. So hopefully this helps people. Look what we got. Here are the lights, right? Sorry, you know what? Maybe it's better from the other angle. Hopefully you guys can kind of understand this. This right here is the mount. The mount goes on to the glass. Does the red C90s work? Yes, but this is a 120 with no sump. So the lights are on technically what you would call the sump, right? This is the back all-in-one chamber. The pumps are in here and the lights are right on it. Whenever you're gonna put a refugium, right, you're gonna hang the refugium the exact same spot where the light is gonna be, okay? So what I'm getting at is, if it wasn't for this right here, this little piece where you can hang a light off of, I don't even know if this is a good idea. This might be a bad idea, if we're being honest. Sorry for moving the camera so much. I'm just trying to show you guys specifically what I'm talking about. So if this right here, what it was meant for was to hold the light that's gonna look over here. But I put it to go onto the light that is over the tank. And that's why this light is uneven. That's why this light is higher than the rest of them, because there's nowhere for me to put this right here. That's not a good idea. It would be over the edge of the tank. That's dumb. If I put it right here, it'd be too close to this light. So my only option was to put it on there, and, you know, maybe I'll just take that fifth light off, you know, keep it as a backup. Maybe it'll work out good. We'll see. We're going to play it by ear. We're going to see how that pans out. And hopefully it's good. Hopefully it works. But just be aware. The other thing I have to do is, sorry, we're going all over the place today. I'm going to take this skimmer right here, right? The Aquamax hang on the back skimmer. It's rated for like 80 gallons heavy bioload. So this is 120. It's not enough. But I got to put that on here too. And where am I going to do that? I think right here. Right here between those two chambers, number 1 and number 2. I'm going to put it right there. And what I'm going to do is, that's where the skimmer's going to go. And it should be okay to where the lights aren't interfered, you know. But yeah, I kind of ran into a problem. I couldn't even think ahead that far because number 1, I haven't seen it. And number 2, I wasn't really thinking about the lights going to be in the way. So the lights are kind of in the way, but not to a point where I can't put up the refugium. I can't put on the skimmer. But I want to warn people that that is possible for you to run into with this all-in-one tank. And I didn't really think about that. So something to think about, something to consider. Now let's move on to other lights. If you were to put like a reef breeders, I've had those before, it'd be one long bar. You could put it on each side and you'd be set. All of your hang on the stuff back could just go all over. You could have a refugium, a reactor, a skimmer, another skimmer, you know, because I might do that. I might just do like 2 skimmers, you know, but that would be way later when there's a lot of poop and waste and just a lot of nutrients in the water that need to be pulled out. Yeah, that's when I would double up on that. And then you have to remember too, on this left side, there's a filter, it's like a tower. I'll take that out later. It's probably about this long, the tower. And there's like separate sections where there's going to be ChemiPure Elite, there's going to be filter floss, and then there's going to be maybe some bio balls. And then on the right side is just going to be a one long little filter. I ordered that on Amazon. I'll show you guys on Monday. It comes in. It takes like, I don't know, 20 days to ship from Amazon. So pretty rare. Like that's not usually the shipping time, but I believe it's because it's from a third party website through Amazon. So that's why. But finally that's coming in on Monday. So that's great. And I will fill that whole thing on the right side with filter floss. You'll see it. So that'll be an update later. So look forward to that. Kind of do a review on that. I'm going to do a separate video because this is getting really long. We're already up to 30 minutes. So separate video on the Wavelink, should be short. I'll do a review and a little unboxing, get it all plugged in, and then let me know what you guys think. like I said, if you have any questions, if you want to see something specific with this tank, please let me know, because I had a bunch of questions about this tank. And now that I bought it and it's on sale for 50% off, hopefully you guys can take advantage of this. And hopefully you can also take advantage of the sale, you know, because that was one of the deciding factors for myself. So like I said, like, comment, subscribe. Hit me up if you have any questions, and thanks for watching.